Welcome, everybody. This is the Weber podcast, where we interview entrepreneurs. Today, I have the honor to sit with my good friend Chaim Berkovic, better known as Chaim Berkovic on LinkedIn. Some know him from Status. The company's called Skyscraper Insurance, and they provide insurance for companies. We'll hear the details exactly in a minute. So, Chaim, my first question to you is, how did you open this company? Was this something you did in yeshiva? Is this something you had a passion for? And how did you get to open this company? Obviously, the goal is we want to inspire a lot of people, and they want to hear the story of a Chasidic entrepreneur and how he made his dream happen and how he became successful. That's what we try to provide. And you have a magnificent story. So if you can share, please.
Definitely. So that's one long question, and it's
Yes.
a big answer, but I'll try to keep it short, sweet, to the point. First of all, it's a great honor to be on your podcast, and the content that you create is so important because a lot of media, a lot of content that we see these days is always aimed towards the dark, and it somewhat sells better in terms of selling news and media.
Correct.
And your content is so focused on the positive. It's I think you shared with me once, you say so many amount of people wake up in New York, like 8 billion people wake up in New York every day.
In the world,
and
yeah.
in the world is 8 billion. In New York, I think the population is 9 million.
Oh.
And everybody wakes up and they have a choice how to look on the world, positive and negative. Very few choose positive. I think you're from the top 1%. And I'm honored to be in that synergy, that energy to be part of the positive content. So where we all start, Skyscraper Insurance is basically we're going in right now in our 8th year, July 4th. We made it on the same birthday of America. We started Skyscraper Insurance, and we are right now servicing more than 8,500 corporate clients throughout the United States. And we are looking to go even and replicate so much more. We're servicing so many different ethnicities, cultures, communities that we help them with their real estate, business insurance, and a lot of medical facilities too now, and nonprofits. That's our strong focus, and we have helped a lot more. And we are trying to even expand more products, more areas to even be better, and always focusing to be one step ahead where the future of insurance and the industry is going. We started out, me and my partner together in my kitchen right after I got married.
Wow.
And I only spent over there very little time because my wife threw me out of the kitchen and I needed to get an office space. I started off on my wife's laptop.
Wow.
And the focus was always to build something bigger than myself. Wow. She asked me what inspired me, what I wanted to do as a little kid. I wanted to be involved in something that I've always, growing up in New York City, seeing the New York skyline, we see all the time how small people have built something so big, and that inspired me. Wow. With the right team, with the right leadership, with the right healthy vision and mindset, everything is achievable. That's how I see it.
Wow.
And this alone proves it, because the places where I still want to go, I look on ourselves still as a little startup. People say, hey, Chaim, you have made it. I can get very comfortable, but I'm always pushing our boundaries and trying to go out of our comfort zone. We are licensed and compliant all across the United States. We service all across the United States. We have offices here in New York, New Jersey, Florida, and we're opening up, pushing our boundaries. Today we're developing and opening up in the heart of Houston, Texas. The population of Texas is very good work ethics over there, and working to have a full underwriting and servicing facility based out of Texas. So the story has a lot of details in it, but what inspires me and where we're coming from and where we're going, this is basically in a nutshell.
Wow. So that's an impressive story to hear how he started 8 years ago. We're still going to get into the details of that. But what I find the most impressive is starting from scratch. When you have nothing going. Today you wake up, no matter if you're in a good mood or in a bad mood, you're ready. You're coming into the office. Do you have questions to answer? People to answer, emails to answer, you're leading a team, there's always work involved. I want to know, what did a day feel like 8 years ago? When you said, I'm opening this company, what did it look like? You woke up in the morning, what did you do? What drove you to work? You have nothing, you're not even making money at that point. You're trying to invest as little as possible. You're working, as you said, from the laptop, your wife's laptop. When I started my business, I remember I borrowed a friend's computer as well. It's that kind of, you don't want to invest, you don't want to. So what did a day 8 years ago in your life, what did a day look like?
So a day then looked like, even in a way, better than a day now. You know why?
Why?
Because we had a goal, we had a vision.
Wow.
And we wanted to achieve that. And of course now it's even better. I mean, to say the growth and some of the vision is a reality these days.
Right.
For example, even our corner office in Rockland County that we sit right now over here,
Yeah.
I've seen this corner for a long time. I did. And it wasn't for sale.
Wow.
I did research for whom it belongs, and I said, I'm gonna have this corner one day. The law of attraction
Right.
worked over here.
Right.
And I went after the owner, worked with them, got the property sold, developed it, got permits. We built this entire headquarters out of here.
Yeah.
But when we started, I always had that vision of achieving something.
Right.
And if your eyes are always locked on the prize and you focus on that, you can see yourself getting day to day closer to that. And I always say for people in our company, in our organization, certain days, I'm so energetic today, like the first day of business. Why do I use the word first day of business? Because the first day of business is when somebody starts something new. New is always easy. We know the first daf of every Gemara, because when we start a new Masechta, we always tried to do our first. So being able to be part of the Chiddush, part of the new, is not a kintz. It's not, everybody can start.
Right.
Being able to stay consistent,
Right.
that's what's the hardest thing.
Wow.
So when you already have customers, and some people like routine, but the nature like me always wants something new, a new project, that excites me, that in our industry I always find there's more to build and more to build. That part of building, the part of going to the new, that's what inspires me, that's what keeps me going. So I need to create every quarter new projects, new heights, new goals, because otherwise routine gets me very boring.
So that is impressive what you just said, and it gave me an entirely new perspective, because a lot of entrepreneurs that I meet, and I love doing this with entrepreneurs on camera or not on camera, to just interview. I want to hear their story, because in this world we're not reinventing the wheel. All we're doing is following methods that work, like you spoke about, the vision and the dream and the law of attraction and having your goals set. But what I just heard is something new, because for many people it's about, how do I balance the struggle, or how do I live with the company that I have, or how do I adjust, and how good of an adjuster am I? For you, that's not the case. For you, it's every morning waking up, okay, today is day one of Skyscraper Insurance. What is my biggest goal? What is my biggest dream? Where am I opening a new office and starting over there from the new? Which industry can I take now? And I can adapt that to many of my businesses. Today is day one. Let me bring all that power, all that motivation that I have, all those ideas and dreams, as if it's day one of my company. If my company right now has 10 employees, I want to start again from day one, and I want to hire another 10 employees so that we can expand and share and help other companies. So that is an impressive point that you shared. On that, you're very positive and optimistic. How does one deal with burnout? Because burnout starts even before you open the company. Everybody starts off with burnout, meaning they're not optimistic about their dreams. They don't feel deserving of it. So how did you get into that mindset that you deserve a good company and you want to make this work? And when you failed, to get back up and say, no, I'm still wanting this, and I'm not going back to taking a job. I'm an entrepreneur and I'm here to stay.
That's a very fair question. And the words, "what doesn't kill you makes you stronger," is so true.
Wow.
It's literally so true. I had so many reasons, and I believe any entrepreneur, any person that built a business has all those reasons to share as well, that why or certain days they could have given up. We went through litigation, lawsuits. In the first year of business, we were called Infinity Insurance. Our slogan was infinite possibilities. And we got a lawsuit just playing for patent and infringement from a carrier. We were a broker, they're a carrier, called Infinite Insurance, that we need to not just rebrand. They sued us for damages because in certain places on Google, on the algorithm, we came up on top before them organically. And a lot of their clients were calling our office, and we made contact. So they said, my lawyer said then, there's another brokerage, Infinity, like, why don't you go after them? Because you're a threat.
Yeah.
So the second I felt, oh, I'm a threat to this large multi-billion-dollar organization, I'm hitting some right buttons. We settled that I'm going to rebrand, and that's when I learned trial and error, like the school of trial and error, that we need to have patents, we need to have trademarks for Skyscraper, the logo, the name, the trademarks, every name. We ensure your vision, we share your vision, we share your bright future, everything around it we have trademarked and patented because I learned it the hard way. But that's just the first lawsuit I've experienced, meaning to say we went through certain hardships, litigation.
And how's the day-to-day with the feelings, feeling discouraged, like for yourself?
So it is tough, but when you enjoy a good bottle of scotch and it has that bitterness in it, but then you still like it, sometimes you got to take a punch or two to enjoy the victory.
Yeah.
And yes, in the moment, it's very, very hard. But every single thing that we went through, and looking back, I spoke with my partner, I spoke with people in our organization that were involved in certain things that we went through. First of all, treat your people like family. You have a family that holds your hands now. When I was alone, when I was doing it alone, it was much harder. Now we're a family. We look on each other's guidance. Everybody in the room brings wisdom to the table. But when we look back, let's say a particular thing that we thought, oh, it's going to be the end of the world now. A year ago, when we came through, we persevered. Every single step in that made us a stronger and better company because we have created workflows, we have created strategic measures, and we became better leaders by predicting better how to avoid and mitigate these type of outcomes. Everything that we went through brought us together and made us stronger. So the words, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, is not just a saying. If you practice it that way, then it is. Sometimes you're going through the hardest things. You gotta sometimes be able to walk out of the office, block it out for a few hours, go home, go to your family, take a drink, speak to some friends. Of course, daven all the time in shul and in your heart, and go to the shvitz, do certain things, carry on. You gotta be able to carry the pressure. Some people, they crack quickly on the pressure. No, you gotta be immune to it. A day that it's not enough pressuring for me, it's like, something is missing. I'm already so immune to it. I'm an addict.
Right. And everybody can become that. Regarding the lawsuits that you said, and we always say you have to measure your problems. When you have bigger dreams, bigger goals, can sometimes bring bigger problems. I had one day somebody call me regarding their social media, and they told me that okay, so it's either you or Gary Vee, and I'm like, wow, is that the level that I'm on, that people compare me to Gary Vee? And Gary Vee is a legend and a genius, and I watch his videos daily. And that's another point that people have to know, that you always have to study your industry. You always have to learn every day. Because you're big, that's another reason for you to continue to study. But Gary Vee is amazing because he just mastered not just work ethics, but he also mastered the concept of social media and how powerful it is in terms of the brands, the biggest brands in the world, but also how powerful it can be for any...
Coca-Cola, a lot of industry, singers.
And it's also relevant for any small business that wants to start off. You have that initial push in a second. And that's what I want to talk about, because people are going to watch this and many people are going to send this to other people. And I want to really touch today on the basics of starting a business. I have a few tips that I can tell any entrepreneur right now. In a second, I can tell them in any industry how to start it. Not how to be successful, but how to start, I can tell them. And I want to hear from you, Chaim. What is your tips? Somebody wants to start a business, any ingaman, if it's a service or a product, what is the first few tips that Chaim would do right now if he were to open a business?
100%. I want to answer all of that about opening a business, but you touched Gary Vee. First of all, I'm also very inspired by Gary Vee because unlike a lot of other influencers out there, Gary Vee, if you study this history, he came to this country. I think his father was set in the Soviet prison. He's a Russian Jew and worked in a...
Oh, he's Jewish?
Yes.
Okay.
Didn't know that?
No. Okay. Very nice.
It's true. We run the world. What Kanye said, maybe he said it in a way that people hate on him, but what he said is true. We run it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of smart minds everywhere. But Gary Vee individually, he started off bottoms up. He packed shelves in a liquor store. He didn't just become Gary Vee overnight. A lot of people that you see online, they just show off in a way. I like a true hard-working story where somebody came from nothing and worked himself up. Addition to that, I very much believe in Gary Vee's method, and we'll blend it into the answer where we're going also, but in social media, that everybody has a certain brand to themselves. Be authentic, be you,
Right.
and nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong.
Right.
So, for example, there's so much untold talent, untold things, because people are afraid, what if?
Right.
For example, there are so many jokes that comedians could have write today, but there's not a free mind of thinking, because certain jokes could be politically not correct or viewed
Right.
this way, so they don't have the freedom of thinking, because they're afraid of being canceled, and stuff like that. The same thing comes to entrepreneurs that have entrepreneurial spirit, but they're not yet successful. They want to start,
Right.
but they're so afraid, I'm going to type something on LinkedIn and it will have a typo on it.
Yeah.
And the whole world will look at me. First of all, the whole world's not even looking.
Right.
But even if they look and they see a typo, I'm the guy that made a lot of typos.
Right.
But fact of the matter, people know about me. And when somebody made me aware of the typo, I said, thank you so much for looking at my post. Now we'll correct
Exactly.
it. I say negative marketing is also marketing. So be out there, be you, because if you're being you, nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. If you're
Right.
being somebody else, I can tell you 100 reasons why you are being wrong.
And that's step one. Be yourself.
Be yourself, be humble, be you, and take in negativity, just like breathe it in as like positivity. Don't let it go into your,
Right.
don't let it bring you down. And also, because that's the biggest challenge, because people starting off, they're not confident in their idea. When you're already made it to the top, you can be on Joe Rogan's podcast and smoke weed like Elon Musk and pay a $40 million fine because you don't care, because you made it there.
Wow.
People are copying you now.
Right.
But when you are the one that is setting off something new and you're so afraid of other people's opinion, don't be.
Right.
Stop right there.
Right.
Be you. Act like if you're in that category of Elon Musk, or
Right.
even greater.
Right.
Elon Musk needs your opinion.
Right. And everybody loves somebody that can be unique and can be themselves. And I'm saying this specifically to any person that goes out there. If you're a Chasidic man, or if you're in whoever you are, the moment you install confidence, which is what you touched on right now, everybody wants to listen to you. Whatever, no matter what you're selling, what you're doing, I want to listen to you. You come to me with that nice smile, with a straight back, with confidence. I want to listen to you. I don't care what you're selling. Even if I don't need it, I want to listen to you. So again, to somebody opening a business, step one is to be yourself and have confidence and believe in it. What would be step two? What do they do?
100%. So step two is very simple. Have a business plan. Have a business plan, which is really step one, but I wanted to just set up the attitude, because
Correct.
you're going to hear so many people's opinion. It's important. Hear everyone out with a smile, but you don't need to, at the end of the day, follow your gut.
Right.
Hear everyone's opinion, because somebody will add to your knowledge as well. If you stand today with a flat tire in the middle of the FDR and everybody is like honking on you and cursing you, and then one person pulls over and really helps you put on that tire, that person is there to help. The all 11 people before weren't even caring about you. They were just
Right.
honking. So a lot of people, mark my words, I saw it in my own life, they have been there to be your biggest critics and bring you down. These same people 2-3 years later are out there asking you for your help and advice and guidance, because it's not that they have critics against you. They see in you a level of confidence or something, a boldness that they would wish they had, and they try to, like, in a way, make themselves feel better by giving it out. Like, you think you're gonna also be smarter than everyone, just go get a desk job. So if somebody has an idea, and if you're in a position where somebody shares with you an idea, it's so important. I always said at the beginning to all my friends, family, associates, encourage them, tell them it's amazing. Because sometimes you cannot help with anything other than a nice good word, and that good word can take them, because that can be that day they're thinking, maybe everything I'm doing, that's the day of being burnt out. The people around you can just change your opinion. What you're doing is amazing, keep on, I don't know how you do it. Like certain things, words like that can change a person, can make them carry on another 3 years from that day of burnout. So going back to the first step, have a business plan, have a vision. What do you want to accomplish? And sometimes in your head, the vision is on the big picture, and of course 80-20 is a big rule, but it's very blurry. If you can write it out on a piece of paper, it changes, and you really see the dots coming together, and you see stronger the company where you want to go. So let's say you're today 2023. Where do you want to be 2033 with this business?
Wow.
Make a business plan. What does this business offer? Who is the ideal client? Where do you black out the noise? Where can you focus on the profits? How do we need to look? What's our profit margin? The best plan that you can make yourself. Whether it's doable, we'll talk in a minute. But first, how does it need to look?
Right. So what you're saying is, also in entrepreneurship, most people that you meet and you ask them, where do you want to go? Or they ask you, like, you're successful. How do I start a business? And your question back to them, which most entrepreneurs would ask from anybody wanting to open a business, is, what do you like? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? And this is the funny part, because most people will say, I don't know. And that is not the answer. You didn't just answer me, you just raised the question. You brought up a question now, which is, what do you want to do? You not knowing what you want to do is the question. So ask yourself long enough, what is it that I want to do? Don't give up by the question of you don't know what business you want to do. When you want to have a business, like you said, know what you want, set your goals. If you want to sell chairs out there, say, I'm going to be the biggest manufacturer of chairs, and do the first few steps, which is, find a supplier, find a few customers. Yes, ask your family and friends to use your business, and then, set the vision. How many
build the type of chair
exactly
that's going to dominate the market.
Right, exactly. But don't stay stuck by the question of, I don't know what I want to do. Everybody has a hobby, and if you ask yourself the question long enough, then you will find the answer, what you do, what you like in business, and you'll go after the business. Again, so number one, believing yourself. Number two, having a vision. I think that number three, I'll let you put whatever you want at number three, but possibly number three is what you mentioned already, is staying consistent.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the plan, having the vision and being able to write it down on paper, that's number one. Two, and we're getting to the consistency. The plan, the business plan, is the master. Now I'm going to number three. I'm just recapping number two, because I'm an investor in a lot of things. And people come into my office and they say, Chaim, would you want to invest in this and this? And I say, let me hear your idea. Make me the pitch.
Right.
And then I say, send me in the pitch deck. And then I was like, everything you just told me and send me in, write it down on a business plan. And only 3% from the 100% that pitch come back with that business plan. I need to make time. Everybody escapes that number two that we just discussed, making a business plan. Very few come back with a plan, because it's so easy to dream. We're all dreamers. Right. We're trying to live the American dream. We're living the dream. Right. But some people, you need to wake up and face some reality. We got to make the dream a reality, and that's what's missing. But now if you follow through, you did 1 and 2, number 3 is already getting easier, because you have the consistency. A lot of people are doing the consistency without having number 2. Right. If you have the plan, that's the master plan. So if you're having a bad day, we're not having a bad day, because you see already the bigger picture. In 2020, in 33, we're going to be selling X amount of chairs, or we're going to be a multi-billion-dollar company, or you're going to be whatever we chose the top goal at that point we're going to be. We just had today in 2022 or 2023 or 2024 a pickle, but that doesn't mean we're off track. We hit a thing, we're going back on the road. Right. I have a saying that I said myself. I travel a lot into New York City, Manhattan. I grew up in the city, and now I'm in Rockland, so travel a lot the FDR. And if you ever went to FDR, there's no time to repair it. So they can't close it down. True. So I always say life is like the FDR drive. You have ups and downs, bumps and cracks, but you can't stop going. If you you try to stop on the FDR, there's no shoulders, no right or left. Yeah. You get kicked from behind. Right. So you got to move forward. So anybody that made it to Wall Street, where the stock exchange is, you need to cross the FDR. And every politician coming into New York City to the UN goes through the FDR. So you want to make a big impact in government, or to go public with your company, you got to go through that FDR drive.
Yeah, I heard this quote. Steve Harvey says, the road to success is always under construction. So that's very important for people to know. When you go into business, know that there's going to be the ups and downs. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be interesting stories. So I want to elaborate on what you said. You explained in about 10 minutes 3 very important steps that anyone can use right now
Today.
to open a business. I want you to give me those 3 steps in 60 seconds. How does one open a business? The 3 steps that you just mentioned.
Basically, what we discussed, number 1 is be yourself, believe in yourself, and know that you can do it.
Correct.
Number 2, take that vision, make a plan, and write down a business plan today, like if you're the biggest corporate company.
Wow.
We have written a business plan, like a workflow, like we're Verizon, the day that we didn't even have employees. But if you're gonna start onboarding people, you gotta make sure you have the best core process and core values for what you want for them. And number 3 is following it through with consistency, because now that you see the big picture, you had a little pickle here.
Wow.
You can right away go out of this one, take a new exit, and go back on the freeway to success, because we see the bigger thing. So a bad day or a tough day is not anymore so tough, because we know we have something bigger to look.
Wow.
We don't get stuck here. Most people get frustrated and hard because everything falls apart. But over here, there's no falling apart. You just back in there.
Amazing. Very nice. I like that you took on the challenge of 60 seconds. I want to ask you a question. People know Chaim Berkovic as a very successful businessman.
Thank you.
What is it that you want to tell them or share to them on who you are or what you built? What is, or maybe a common misconception, what is a message that you want people to see? Like, hi, I'm here in real life and I want to share to you this and this. What is something you want to share or tell people?
There's so much I would want to share and tell people, but first, any level that I was able to inspire anyone gives me joy. I truly enjoy to be able to be inspiring, and at the same time, I feel I can learn almost from anyone and everyone that I meet, people bigger and smaller than me. But one thing that I've realized throughout meeting people that have made it very big in life, certain very, very large clients, I always really realize that it's an old saying, money talks and wealth whispers. What do I mean by money talks and wealth whispers? There's a certain attitude that people that are really truly wealthy, they have, that they respect every single human being.
Wow.
And being humble is very important. Being kind is very important. A person told me, I have a lot of people on my private jet that I take with me, but these people are the same people that if I need to take the city bus, they will also come with me.
Wow.
One day if they need to take the city, they'll also come with me. So it's important to genuinely be a good person. I love making money. I'm not gonna say that saying in a bad way, but people are saying some people are so poor that all they got is money.
Wow.
Of course, it's important to be profitable, making money, but at the same time, in every business transaction that you're involved in every deal, in every piece of business, in every client prospect, every presentation, whether you win the business or lose the business, you have the ability to connect and make true friendships, genuine connections with people in that process. And then sometimes 3-4 years later, you're going to be able to benefit even of a no that you got today. You're later going to be able, if you represent yourself like a mensch and you represent yourself truly by adding value. You got to add value to people. Always try to add value. So we at Skyscraper, what we do and our entire team does, and what everyone in our organization does, every day we think, how can we add value to our existing clients and as well to the marketplace that we are in, to bring solutions to real-time problems that's going on.
Wow.
If
That's
we
amazing.
can add value, then we are a beast. Then we have what to fight to get the business for, because we believe in ourselves that we can add value. A place where we cannot add value, I always say, let's not touch that, because what are we fighting for?
Right, that's amazing. So we spoke already about which a big part of the audience for both you and me is people that wanting to open businesses, people that we inspire, or people that are currently in positions where they want to see what it is to open a business. My next question is, because a lot of people watching us do have businesses or do have very high positions in a company, and the question is what does it take to manage a team? Obviously, you have multiple locations, you have a lot of employees. I don't know exactly the number, if it's 100 or more or whatever. The question is, and I'm going to try again to challenge you with 60 seconds, what does it take to lead a good company and a good team?
So it's very simple. Having a good company and a good team, first of all, no hire is rather than a bad hire. So many people hire under the gun and they end up building a toxic relationship because they were hiring under pressure, and hiring under pressure creates a big problem. But how do you drive people to come to you? If you have a company that has a good culture and the mission statement of the company is right, people that want to join that vision, that idea, that enthusiastic idea, you walk in the doors, you feel like it's a lively place of creativity, the circle inspires you, are driven to come there, and they build the environment. So having a good culture is number one, and culture is set from the top. If the people on top believe in treating the employees right, treating the culture right, is always say, treat your employees and your colleagues the way you want them to treat your clients.
Wow.
You're so focused to give good satisfaction for customers or customer service, you forget sometimes about your own people.
I like that.
If they are true, loyal, and passionate at what they're doing, and you want them to be passionate and loyal to the client,
Right.
at least exhibit that same level of behavior from you to them. That their problem is your problem, and the rest will follow.
Right.
Biggest issue that I have, I feel painful if somebody's not happy in our organization. I want every single person to be happy. If they're happy, we can overcome anything.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to wrap this up in another few questions, but you touched before on a subject which is LinkedIn and the benefits of it. You had a very nice perspective on it. Part of my business is also, we have a business called Weber Media where we do social media management for Baruch Hashem, many big companies like Dagem or Klein's Ice Cream and Ice Cream House. We also do people's LinkedIn, and I can't mention those names because we really become that person, and I don't want to give away these names. But my question to you is, I know you're very popular on LinkedIn, status, Instagram. You obviously utilized that space a lot in your business. If you can elaborate on that and basically do maybe a sales pitch for me, but meaning to say, how did it work for you so that people can see the benefit of LinkedIn?
100%. I used to encourage our sales team, and I used to ask them by the next sales meeting, let me show you how you can use LinkedIn, because I really believe LinkedIn is a powerful tool. And the idea of connecting with people, networking with people is a very powerful thing in any business. And when I started off on all these platforms, it was 2016.
Wow.
And I've been using LinkedIn consistently. The word consistently, that's also what it takes. Posting consistently.
You have 20,000 followers and you're on Instagram.
Correct. So all these platforms, first of all, I was doing WhatsApp status before anybody else had a big WhatsApp status. I was doing that.
What did you share?
And I've shared a lot over there, but I stopped a year afterwards. I stopped very, very quickly because I realized even having a few thousand people seeing it, it's limited.
Wow.
And I became a direct messenger for a lot of blur that wasn't focused. So I right away took the approach of LinkedIn, Instagram, and certain other platforms to be able to have a much wider spectrum.
Wow.
So in the LinkedIn space, you're literally, think of yourself, you're going to a networking meeting, and you have everyone in the world, anyone in the industry that you're looking for, you have their direct attention.
Wow.
And you have the biggest people with the door blockers with their direct attention if you represent yourself right.
Wow.
But you have the opportunity to make the same pitch like if you're in person. Of course, some people connect better in person, but you can't be everywhere at the same time when you're in real life. But on LinkedIn, you can be in Minnesota, Iowa, Texas, Louisiana, and New York, the Northeast, the West Coast, and one day be all over if you represent yourself right. Yeah. So first of all, my biggest tip that I can say for most of the people on LinkedIn, a lot of people have very confusing profiles.
Wow.
And sometimes you're already talking to me, you're in my DMs, and I'm for some reason already looking on you, and I'm like, what are you doing? If I need to ask, what are you doing? It's not clear. You gotta fix that. Make it, it's called the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. Every person needs to understand it in layman's terms. These complex, fancy stuff sometimes throw you off the boat.
Right.
So once you have a clear message, don't just hit up people. Can we talk 15 minutes? People that you didn't know or don't or long messages that people won't read.
Right.
First, build an audience.
Right.
Who's my ideal demographic? and start filtering the search. You can go every day on top on LinkedIn. If you want to deal with property managers, put in property managers. You can even filter the search as much as to a state or a company or a region. There's so much things that you can do even without a paid version.
Yeah.
And connect with those people one after another. Connect.
Amazing.
And in the same time, build your content. Post good quality content that engages with people that will potentially show interest for those people. So subconsciously in their mind, later when you're going to be reaching out, or maybe they'll even come reaching out to you because you're going to be sending such quality content,
right.
They will know you're the guy for the job because you're saying something different. You're a
Right.
breath of fresh air. You have
Right.
a different approach. We like you.
Right.
Comment back on their stuff. Post a thumbs up when they be positive to them.
Wow.
And
Amazing.
also when somebody right away connects, first say thank you for connecting with me. If they want to lead on the conversation, okay, you already gave it, you fished, you already catch the fish. But if they don't want to lead on, they like just say sure, no problem, whatever. You sent a positive thank you for connect. Later, a few months later, think of an approach that's different and say something short, sweet, to the point
Right.
of how potentially you can bring value to them.
Right, and then years later, you find yourself with an audience of thousands of people that you connected, said hi, shared value, or read their content. So that's amazing to have that.
Correct,
Wow.
and don't get some people so much time. It's not a much time. Designate 15 to 20 minutes a day. Empty out all the blurs. Keep
Yeah.
the inbox clean and focus on the quality. Focus
Wow.
on the cream of the crop. It's 1%,
Amazing.
but also you create your quality because you choose who your content and your people should be.
Right.
And most of the people, when it comes to sales generally, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's in person, they say, I can do this and this and this. I can be cheaper. I can be this. And the general way, it's a tip. I hope my sales team listens into this because I practice it in the office. But most of the time, it's like, I'm going to be cheaper. I'm going to be better. It's these given responses that everybody expects you to give.
Right.
I realized I was going to someone, I was doing 5-6 years ago, I was with someone in his office, worked hard to get to his office, and he looks at me, and while sitting at his computer, fully distracted, not looking on me, he says, so why are you here? What do you think you can do better? And I wanted him to focus, not to be distracted, like looking on the computer, and I'm like, what do you think I can do better? And he like all of a sudden stops what he's doing and turns around, looks at me. So
Wow.
I got his attention.
Yeah.
Why did I get his attention? Because he was expecting, what do you mean? I can do better. I can beat the guy. The other guy is
Yeah.
he's robbing you, stealing you. So first I had that 60 seconds of him. He's like looking at me.
Yeah.
So sometimes having that chutzpah, having the chutzpah to
Right.
say something bold or different or directly what he's not expecting will engage better.
Right.
So same thing is on LinkedIn, any place, on any platform. Now that he's looking at you, can say, I don't know what you have right now, but this and this is what I emphasize very
Wow.
strongly. This and this is what I truly believe can bring value.
Right.
And even if
Value.
even if he says this value, this is also not something he needs,
Right.
he or she needs, you simply say, I see it's not gonna work to be clients right today, but I'm still documenting my journey.
Yeah.
What do you think, from an assurance standpoint, or from a media standpoint, or from any manufacturing standpoint, you would have want to have done better?
Wow.
What do you think? I'm teaching you a secret now. What do you think? What would you want to have better today? Because if you ask a person, so what can I give you? They're not gonna drop their guard and be vulnerable. Maybe to somebody else, but you're selling it. You're not gonna drop the guard. If they are telling you, you know what? I would want 1 or 2 things, this or that. They say 2 topics that would want better. Take note on that. Follow up 3 to 6 months later and say, by the way, I can help you X. Not right away on the spot. I can do this for you, because then he chapped what he did with you.
Right.
Just simply document what could be done better for that person, improve on that part, and call him 3 to 6 months later, and you have the sale.
Amazing.
So that means a no is never a no.
Amazing, right. I heard this saying, I can't remember, maybe from Alex Hormozy. He said that when you meet somebody and they tell you right away, like, no, I'm happy with my current whoever service provider I'm using or whatever it is, tell them, can you just tell me what's one thing you're not happy with them, so that maybe I can provide that one thing when he, let's say it was trucking, if he can't do a truck on on Friday, maybe I can come in and once you have that little window with them, that is very powerful. Another thing in sales, which I noticed, is value. And that's how I do my sales pitch. If people want to know, mostly people come to me and they say, I've seen your social media services or what you do. But if I do, there's clients that I want and companies that I want to do their social media. My number one pitch to them is value. Like, hi, I don't have to introduce, I want to tell you one thing. I can create for you a video, a picture, or a post that will make you so happy, and even for free, I can provide for you content. And then they become happy. Then they're like, wow, you know what? Let me bring you onto my team. Do this for me every day, every week. Run my social media. So that's value. Provide value. Sometimes it's a piece of information. Sometimes it's an actual thing, an actual work that you're going to do for that person. Provide value. When you give something, that is very, very powerful. My next question is, people dream a lot. I noticed for myself in dreaming in terms of businesses, once I opened the company Weber Media, I noticed I can now open whichever company I want. Okay, so we went and we opened Weber Mugs, Weber Podcast, Weber Status, many different brands on the Weber, because I know right now I can, and I do it myself. I sit on my laptop and today with the power of AI, I just create businesses. The logo, the website, it takes literally seconds to create. My question, so that's a very powerful point. My question to you is, what's Chaim Berkovic dreaming of right now? What's your next venture? What are you constantly dreaming about? What, if you can elaborate on that?
So within the space that we are, there is so much more to do, and we are trying to bring solutions to real problems. For example, in the Florida market, catastrophic storms, wind and hail has been something where people have been hit a lot.
Yeah.
And there is people paying, let's say, I'm talking groups that have been paying last year $5 million for their entire project a year for insurances. Literally went up to $10 million. That eats up their entire profits, and they're not even looking to make major claims because it's something where they are afraid that if they do any claim, it will throw them completely off the board from insurances.
Yeah.
So we're trying to work on a level of big groups who have done captives, but on in medium-sized groups who want to build a product like us, the insurance company, and as well build a captive self-risk sharing program where these groups of individuals, like per let's say if somebody has a certain amount of units in West Palm or certain areas in Louisiana or certain places in the high wind hail states, these catastrophic states, we want to become somewhat of a carrier to solve a solution in a way to be still profitable. We're thinking of particular smart ways of working with local roofing companies to enforce certain things on these properties because of storms.
Yeah.
We're trying to think that direction to really solve a big problem. We have tried a few demos that we are presenting for reinsurance companies. It's still in the works, but we're working on that. Me personally, I'm always available to invest in any dream, in any business that I believe in. I invested in some that are doing amazing.
Wow.
Even the rehabs, the detox centers, all these type of things. Before it was popular in our community, in 2017, I already invested in one.
Wow.
It was down south, and I've done a few over the years, as well as always optimistic. I love opportunity, and I love seeing. I see the opportunity in certain people that some I think don't see in them because they all have this old-fashioned way of looking. If you didn't have a bachelor's degree or they have this or that or whatever, you're not gonna make it. So I still didn't given up on people. So I still believe in. Sometimes I see talent. I see people as like, I want that talent to work for my organization. How can we make them work here?
Yeah.
I need that in my company. So
Amazing. Always
always out there to scout what's out there. And yeah, the list goes on and on. By the way, you're interviewing me, but I have a question that it's behind on my mind because I'm trying to stay a young company, and I always think that you need to listen to your own people, to the younger generation, where you're going. And I've realized myself, for the little time before I opened insurance, I was trying certain things, working for others, and the way how ideas weren't valued. And I think now back, some of these people are my clients and they look up to my ideas. Like I could have brought it to their organization, and I've implemented a lot of things that are now big today's days on a huge spectrum and a lot of various things. And I don't want to be late on ideas, as well as I always urge my own staff from bottoms up. If you have any idea, there's a time of the week when we listen as a staff meeting across the board to get these ideas to life. But when it comes to media, TikTok today is very big, yeah?
Yes.
And I've seen one of California, big insurance agency, has posted that he built up a TikTok page of over 1 million followers, and it brings them traffic, brings them business, and also it's a Gen Z trend that's you connected with. They make some interesting videos and whatever. I myself, dancing on a TikTok, I don't think I'm the best person for the job, but what is your opinion of companies having TikTok pages?
Right. So that's a good question, great question. We're following attention. We want people's attention. That's what Weber Media as a company wants, and that's what every company in general wants. We want people's attention. The attention used to be on Instagram. It used to be on Facebook, Instagram. It's a lot on LinkedIn, and it's still on all these platforms. But right now, the attention is on TikTok. And that's why Instagram people are seeing a little bit engagement down, or even on LinkedIn, people are seeing engagement down. That's because the engagement is in TikTok. So, me personally, I'm getting hundreds of thousands of views every week on TikTok. So that's very popular. I have more people coming over to me with my smaller following over there. I have tens of thousands on LinkedIn and on Instagram, but on TikTok, which I just started recently, like 2 years ago, I have over there, I think, 1,500 followers, but I'm getting a lot more engagement. So TikTok is definitely amazing. Now, in general, and then we'll go to TikTok, you always want to share value. That's a mistake a lot of people make. They sit themselves onto social media, and a lot on LinkedIn, but also on Instagram, and they're selling. And they're like, come to me and come to us. Provide information, So for Skyscraper Insurance, there is so many interesting. First of all, your name is Skyscraper, so anytime people see you talking or talking to others, you want to see skyscrapers. I would, if I were to do skyscrapers, it's a cold pitch, but if I were to do Skyscraper Insurance, I would go with you in Manhattan, because I love Manhattan, I love the city, and let's walk around. Let's ask people questions about skyscrapers. Let's ask people questions about insurance. That's entertaining. Two Hasidim going around. So it's not just about the dancing. It's about
I like that idea. We should hit the city one day.
I'm ready right now. But I'm saying let's provide entertainment. You want to give. We're not asking for them. I don't need your insurance. I want to give. When you give and you do something a little bit different, it doesn't have to be a dance. But when you give information, you give entertainment, you're going to get back business. So that's the answer to the question. My last question to you, unless you have anything else you want to say or ask, is, and for people that made it all the way through here and they're not necessarily in business, I know that you have a very positive personality and you love to give as well, and you're very thought out and you're a smart person, Baruch Hashem. The question is, for people that are feeling discouraged, and we know that so many people today with depression on the rise, anxiety. Again, in 60 seconds, what's your just regular motivation that you would tell to any person watching this? A 60 seconds motivation, especially because you do have a business and you've been through and you have a family, of course. 60 seconds motivation to any individual watching this.
So it's very simple. Whether you're in a position of leadership, you're a position as a business owner, you're an employee, whatever you are, you're a family person, let's go with the same approach of adding value. So many people are like busy counting the hours. When do you go out of work? How much am I gonna make by the end of the week? And what drives those results? Simply the value that you bring for the organization. So if you're in the right organization, some people are just simply they're so talented, they're surrounded with the wrong circle. So you got to be in a circle that inspires you. If your circle doesn't inspire you, definitely get out of there. It's toxic. It's not healthy. But if you're in the right circle, even the numbers are where you're not currently, or the level of satisfaction or something is missing, try to take that missing part, instead of applying that in anger and building up more and more to the problem. You're gonna be a big victim, but victims cannot deposit the results. You gotta be a survivor, not just a survivor, a thriver. How do you take that issue, build it into a solution, pitch it to your organization, and that's how you become into management, because you are from the bottoms creating change within, if you believe in that circle. If that circle is a wrong circle to begin with, and the people that were not going to listen to you, that's the same circle that didn't listen to me when I was trying to apply for jobs. And I went out and did myself on my own. So I escaped that circle because it wasn't good. But if you have a good circle that works as teamwork, that's the real dream work.
Wow.
And the same thing goes in personal life. Add value and use the issue. Most of the problems, most of these things that you just mentioned before are a symptom of a bigger issue. So block out the drama and focus on the real issue and solve it. Because if you want to go into the drama, everybody's going to listen. All the therapists will say you're right. You're going to be a victim, but victims are pitied.
Right.
You got to change the victimhood into victory.
Right.
Because that's the real success.
Amazing.
Our grandparents are the biggest role models. A lot of people could look, these strong, big people are people that are over here. Our parents had emotional strength that nobody else had. They came here after the Holocaust. They had every reason to be a victim, to go on therapy and claim victimhood to the highest level because they went through the unthinkable, and we should never know about it. Let's live in a good world. Let's focus on the positive. But they didn't look back. They looked forward. So they went through so much. They had all the rights to have depression and all these type of things. I think it's easier to be lazy and depressed than really doing something about it.
Wow.
So of course, do something to help yourself, to help your organization, to help your circle of people, to help your next generation, to help your kids to be in a better place by changing the attitude, how you look on it.
Amazing.
Not the symptom, the issue, solve it and create something better.
Wow. Yeah, and one of my favorite quotes is from the legendary Albert Einstein. Said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. So just get out there and do the results. If it's in business or in personal life, do something. Don't do the same thing, do something new. Anyway, thank you so much, Chaim Berkovic. People can follow you on LinkedIn, Chaim Berkovic, or on Instagram, Skyscraper Insurance. Thank you so much for this, for giving us the time.
Definitely.
And thank you so much, the listeners, for watching this. And
definitely.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. And like I always say, we at Skyscraper Insurance share your vision for a better tomorrow. Thank you for taking this time out of my day because I needed this.
Thank you. My pleasure.